Hey, good evening, good morning, good night, good afternoon. Oh, wherever you are, whoever you are, welcome to the pit stop. It's the Monday vibe, right? Where we just taking it light, taking it easier. And this is yours truly, the Grand Queen, coming at you tonight. Hope you had a good Sunday, a good Saturday. Hate to use the word weekend, as though like the whole everything just like ended. It's actually a continuation. So yeah, I hope that you had a good Saturday and a good Sunday. And if you didn't, sometimes stuff happens. But here we are on the coffee, tea, or me coffee, tea vibe. Got my little Temptations mug, right? Mm, I'm just saying, yeah, you know how it goes sometimes. Need a cup of coffee, need a tea, cup of tea, herb tea, some kind of tea. I don't know, some people put a little, something in it, little ganja in it. I'm just saying. But this is the Monday vibe. And, it's your Mondays. What is your Monday like today? Is your Monday morning? What was your Monday morning like? Did you need a triple shot of espresso sprint, or was it a calm chamomile stroll? What did you have when you stopped at that Dunkin' Donuts? What did you have when you stopped at the coffee shop, your local coffee shop? What did you have when you stopped at whatever coffee shop? The purpose is to get your coffee on, to get your tea on. What's your vibe like today? How were you vibing today? Your Monday. So here we are vibing together. Yeah. And again, welcome to the pit stop where we just cool. We just chill out, just lay back a little bit, you know, not too much, not too little. Put your feet up, get your cup of coffee, get your mug. Some people got a little mug, and some people got a big mug. It depends on what you want. It depends on how you need to kick your feet up, right? So here we are tonight. Yeah, all the Gen Zs and millennials and the alphas and the boomers and the zoomers and whatever you call yourself. And some people don't like it. Say, why you calling me a Gen Z? Why you calling me alpha? Why you calling me a boomer? That's just the trend. You know who you are. I say you are the phenomenal one, and you're here with me tonight. And thank you for stopping by. Listen, we're just going to refuel and recharge up from the past couple of days. It just recharge and refuel from the day. Some of us, the day starts early, and for some of us, the day starts it starts early and it ends late. For some of us, the day starts early and it ends early. However, you sometimes you need that little triple shot of espresso. Sometimes you need that little triple shot of what do they call it? Macchiato, macchiato, whatever. I know I'm pronouncing it wrong. Just somebody correct me right quick. Macchiato, I believe it is. Sometimes you need triple shot of turmeric ginger tea. I'm just saying, you know, just to help get you going and keep you going, or just to help bring you, just keep the vibes, keep those positive vibes going. Just keep the high vibes going, and just to remove those low vibes, the sort. And I'm talking about bad energy, good energy. That's the issue. We are exposed to enough bad energy as it is. And sometimes it's like on an all-time low, that bad energy, and you can feel it, you can identify it, not just feel it, you can see it, how it plays out. Hey, You're trying to cope. So you need tools to cope. And here we are, vibing and talking about, just glad we are together. I'm just saying. Glad to see you tonight. And for those of you um who are not familiar, go to J Tire Form 1 at YouTube and you can join me in the chat and you can, just cool out and just make some comments about tonight. Tell us about your coffee tea day. Tell us about, spill the tea about it. I'm just saying. Talk about, how your morning was. Was it a triple shot of nonsense? Was it a cool, calming cup of chamomile this morning? So yeah. So here we are again. This is yours truly, the Grand Queen, and this is not a medical advice advisory board. This is not a medical advice show. We just here to support good mental health. I'm here to support not only good mental health, but also to advocate for good mental health and to support and to reach out to others that can help us do better with good mental health. That part. So here we are. So this is why we are refueling and recharging with what you say, with tools, with tools. Having that first conversation in a safe space. That's what this is about—a safe space for everyone. And this is Women's History Month, and we are supporting our women, not just because it's Women's History Month. This is ongoing, moving forward. This is continual. And yeah, across generations, we are supporting our little girls. I posted on TikTok for those of you who are you can see me at Grand Queen on TikTok, and I posted a video about um, Marseille Martin, I believe it is, and she is a pioneer for younger women. She's made so many accomplishments. I mean, like, I believe she's one of the youngest producers at the time when I made that. There's more uh, on the circuit, but I just chose her in particular because she stood out, not just because she was very young, but she stood out. She's an advocate for good mental health, and I just had to just actually bring up more awareness to her for this Women's History Month. She's changing history, making new history. So her story is story. My story is your story. It's our story. So this is not only Women's History Month, this is Women's Her Story Month. And we need you to share with us on what your story is for this for this month. So again, you can go to TikTok and view that reel. A few reels on there. Again, this is that TikTok Grand Queen, and you can also again come back on this page at J Tire Form 1 and comment and leave some valuable information, some tools of empowerment that we all can use. And we're also talking about not just Black women, but women of color, Asian, um, Caribbean women, it doesn't matter what culture you're from, what religion you're from. We are bringing more awareness to the accomplishments and just to raise and uplift our women even more because we are the communicators. We are the ones who really bring it in the communication, the line of communication. And that we are doing all sorts of meaningful things that mean something um, in science, technology, engineering, and math world and more, in the world of literature and the world of arts and more. We putting it down. We are the nucleus of communication. And hey, that's what it is. That's what it is. And it starts early. I'm just saying. And Marseille, Marseille Salad, believe Miss Martin, let me just get it right. Miss Martin, she is showing us just how doesn't matter how old you are. You can start early. And I believe it works when you start early. Our little girls, our little boys, 10 years old, 8 years old, 6 years old. You don't know what's in them. It's got to help them to cultivate and show them they can do anything and be anybody. However, they must be valued. We must keep them in a not keep them closed in for, ourselves, but we must value them and teach them they are valuable and teach them what to look for so they'll be protected. We must keep them protected. So yeah, tonight is the coffee tea vibe, and I got my little coffee. What y'all drinking out there? Huh? Hmm, what y'all having out there? Somebody chime in and let me know what y'all doing for this Monday vibe. So the question. This is the community awareness. I think got a question. I always have a question. And guess what? Y'all know I got a story. Yeah. So the question of tonight is: a postpartum woman was laughed at in a store. Something too many mothers quietly endure. And the name of that store was Aloe. If anybody shops at that store, but it's a store called Aloe, ALO. Somebody let me know if they shop at that store and if they've heard this story. And she was body shamed. Postpartum is no joke for women who go through that. Some people, she said she was, I believe she was looking for a little gym bag. She was about to, like 2 months out with postpartum. And she was looking for a little gym bag to, take to her because she wanted to begin to, exercise and things like that. And that's attached to uh, your mental health. Uh, so she was doing the right thing. She acknowledged she was going through postpartum. She was looking for a little station so she can get started. She'd already started. She's already at the gate, which was we just applaud her because some women it takes longer. It could take 2 months, 2 years, 5 years. It took me 5 years. I'm saying, bust me up. My last son bust me up. Took me 5 years to really get my headspace, my body, everything right. I haven't always been this fabulous. And he is 27. And just think that was 27 years ago. So now I really understand. And so many of us, not just women, but men, they understand. There's a lot of men who understand. And her husband was supportive of her. And we applaud you. We thank God for all the dads out there, all the big brothers, uncles, and things like that who support the issues that women go through, who support the emotional aspect. That's part of it. Just issue. Somehow, that's a part of life. We applaud you. And Lance, I love you. He's on TikTok. He's another cat. He puts it down. He puts it down. He supports women. He supports families. He brings awareness to men and women. He brings balance. When he talks about issues that men and women address, especially millennials today and Gen Zs and stuff and things like that. He really brings it. Like he doesn't just ask why. He has a solution, like to help you to rethink and stuff like that. The guy he's serious. I love it. So check him out on TikTok. So anyway, yeah, body shaming is just I don't know. I don't know. Some people just think it's normal. Nobody should normalize that. So today's Monday vibe is about coffee, tea, or me. Don't try to body shame me or anybody else. Somewhere you and me, we somewhere trying to get it right, get our headspace right, and make the body line up with the headspace, and make the headspace line up with the body. And you walk into a store. You've already set your objectives. You already set your goals and what you need to do. And it's not just about a list of things to do. It's about what's meaningful in your life without other people being indifferent about it, without other people taking it personal. So she walked into Aloe. It could be Aloe. I'm just saying, sounds like a Latin name. And the employees laughed at her when she asked about this bag. Well, it wasn't just the bag. They laughed at her size because, from what I understand, the store is not inclusive. According to my research, the store is not inclusive. So when they saw her size, they saw her what they believed to be not a deficiency, but what is the word I'm looking for? They what they believed to be a handicap, and they started labeling her because she wasn't their size, and these were Hispanic women. Well, according to the article, they were speaking in Spanish. That's why we need to learn the language, people. I'm just saying. So when people are speaking in Cantonese, Spanish, or whatever language, patois, you understand what they're saying, and you can advocate gracefully in the right way. I'm just saying. Because if I'd been there, I already know. I understand Spanish. I already know. I'd have been like, okay, ¿qué pasó? What's going on? And just say, I'll just, politely be like, okay, like, where are we taking this? And post it. Oh, I'd have blasted them over the internet, which the young woman did, which this lady did, this young woman did. And we support her. For those of you who understand the vibes, we support her. So yeah, so what threw her off, and she was doing well, but what threw her off was the body shaming. I mean, naturally, that would have threw off any of us if we hadn't been prepared. Now, sometimes you just got to be prepared for the punch. You sometimes you don't need to just walk into the punch. Mm, you just need to be prepared, with tools and things like that. Thank goodness for the internet. Thank goodness you can blast people on the internet. And thank goodness you can also become more educated. You can just redirect those little good, bad, those little ugly, nasty things. But how does it affect your mental health? Here's a young woman on postpartum. She's on the postpartum journey. It's not easy, or tis not easy at all. So how do you take care of yourself like that? How do you take care of yourself? And what would you do? What have you done? And what would you do if you were in her situation? What have you done during postpartum? And has this ever happened to you? That's my question. I need somebody to hit me back and say, hey, this has happened to me. Coffee, tea, or me, postpartum. I'm just saying, what did you do? You know, did you raise a roof or did you advocate? Did somebody advocate for you? How did you feel? Drop your mug. Drop your mug emoji. Drop your mug emoji into the chat and talk about it. Talk about your vibe. Talk about your vibe. Mm? We need to know so we can have a tool, so women can have this tool in the event they face that kind of opposition. Yeah, it happens. You understand? Like what would you do, right? So it's pit stop moments. Welcome to the pit stop. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good night, whoever you are, wherever you are. Just filling out without coffee, tea, or me moments. And just today's reminder, I want to remind you today that young woman, she's on a postpartum journey. And, she'd already made a positive move. Go to the gym, start working out, looking for a little accessory, small bag, and incoming hits. Got hit with some foolish moves from salespeople from the store called Aloe. Or maybe I'm saying it wrong, Aloe. I don't know. I'm just saying. The gist of the matter is the fact of the matter, she was body shamed. And it was just like it just came out of nowhere. Stuff happens sometimes when it comes out of nowhere. But you have handled that. Or the postpartum ladies, or the PP ladies. How would you have handled that? And again, she was a young woman. Her husband was supportive of her as well. How would you have handled that? Drop a coffee to your me vibe at J Tire Form 1. Tell us how you would have handled it. Tell us how you did handle it if it did happen to you, because these are tools of empowerment. How do we heal from getting hit like that? How do we heal from things like that? Tools, tools of empowerment. Healing plus tools of empowerment equals healing. Well, trauma, because okay, trauma plus tools, empowerment tools equals healing. So no doubt. I mean, she was already traumatized by postpartum. Postpartum is traumatizing. It is, because here you are, birthed a whole human. Hello? Oh, a whole human, as which we are gifted to do, to birth these phenomenal beings. And we are, so, and somebody, and so I gotta drop this on you too. I heard this on what's TikTok. Listen, on TikTok, Lance said, when women give birth, which I never thought of it. Although I'm always in a celebratory mood when my children's birthday comes around. And now I know why I'm always in such a high vibe and mood when my children's birthday comes around. He says when women give birth, it is because it's their birthday. I was like, huh? I was a Scooby Doo moment. I was like, birthday, one their child, when a woman gives birth, when their birthday happens, when their birthday comes around, it's the woman's birthday too. I was like, that makes oh my sense. Yes, it is my birthday. Yes, it is the mother's birthday too. It's the most phenomenal, scary, good, weirdly wired, sensational day ever. So yes, it is the mother's birthday over and over and over again with her children. She has 4 children, 5 children, 10 children, 20 children. Just think that's like 20 to the 10th power birthdays she gets to celebrate with those children, which is phenomenal. Yes, this is coffee tea or me moment. It's the Monday vibe at the Pit Stop Mental Health Check-in family. They hit me up at J Tire Form 1. If you believe that women who give birth, women who birth children, and when their birthday comes around, you believe it's your birthday too. Well, I hear a lot of yes, 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 yes to all the above. I'm just saying. So yeah, so I just popped that story in because it just hit me like so good. So postpartum bodies, is not the punchline, but this young woman, she got hit with a punch. I'm just saying. Caregivers are not um, invisible, and nobody should have to explain their body to a stranger. Mothers are not invisible, fathers are not invisible. But nobody needs to explain to anybody about what's happening to your body, and especially a retail store, especially a store that's supposed to be for the community. I think they need some those salespeople, those salespersons, saleswomen, whoever they were, they do need some counseling. They need some intervention. Some intervention and prevention needs to go on there because clearly they don't understand customer service and the ethics of it. That was unethical and more. Shut Bob on that. Go to Jay's Higher Form 1 and leave a comment, people. So yeah, here we are. The emotional weight that people carry day to day. We're just weirdly wired like that. The emotional weight that women carry, especially firstborn women. Talked about this at the Just Stop It show. last week, and I'm gonna keep talking about the weight that the firstborn carry, firstborn females, the weight that firstborn females carry. That weight that firstborn males carry is also different. This is Women's History Month, and we're gonna talk about women and the weight that they carry. About the weight that women carry, the emotional weight that they carry, and the in rural areas, right? And just in general, just carrying the emotional weight, carrying the financial weight, carrying the political weight, uh, especially among women of color and women in rural areas versus women in city areas. I believe women in the city, they have more support. I mean, yeah, coming from the city, living there ever so long, and then moving to rural area, moving to the countryside. Oh yeah, it's way different. It's so different. The stats, it's so high because we have food deserts, we have green space deserts, we have transportation deserts. And here, it's mental health deserts, mental health support deserts, Mm. and dentists. That part. That's another story. That's another vibe for another time. However, carrying that kind of weight, we need more tools, more forums, uh, yeah, and a safe space. Just have at least to have the initial conversation about these things. So yeah, these things happen especially among women of color, uh, rural women and multi-generational caregivers because the family composition is changing, the households are changing. So yeah, these are everyday moments of disrespect. Can you imagine us not to normalize these things? Help us, because if they are normalized to somebody who causes the infraction, help us not to accept that. My women, help us not to accept those kind of vibes. Not help us to advocate against it, shut it down, right? Help us to uh, to to not accept disrespect because that can trigger shame, anxiety, and isolation. Listen, winter just spent. Winter ain't even finished. Winter is not over. Here we are on the tip of spring. Spring is about to happen. You know what happens during the spring? It gets really windy, very windy, rainy. Could get cold, like it's winter again. But that's because of the change. The earth is changing, people are changing, the animals are changing, stuff is switching up. And the time change, which is another story. I just wish the government just leave it like it is. This daylight saving time is not for everybody. Daylight savings time is not for everybody. That's as my people used to say, everybody, my little country people. It's not for everybody. It's daylight savings time. So, you know, here at the pit stop and the Just Stop It movement, the safe space. And here in this movement, we name it, we validate it, we name it, and we validate what's doable. We validate what's approachable. We validate what's solvable. And we refuse to normalize wickedness. We refuse to normalize evil trends or something that's nothing to do with, you know, life itself. We don't, we don't normalize that. Just like I made on TikTok. You can go to TikTok and view Brand Clean TikTok, and I talked about. I made a short there, and I talked about, how to don't worry about time. Don't worry about time itself. Let it go. Many times we are so concerned about what's going to happen at the end. We're so concerned. Yeah, you do need the end game. Yeah, you do. But the focus is not the end game. The focus is to get through it, get to it, get with the situation and the tools of empowerment. And that's how we let it go. Is the pit stop. Welcome to the pit stop. Good evening, good morning, good night, good afternoon, whoever you are, wherever you are. Coffee, tea, or me? This is the Monday vibe. Hello. And we're just vibing. We're just cooling out here tonight. But check in with us. Check in with me at J Tire Form 1. Just us at J Tire Form number 1 at YouTube and also at TikTok at Grand Queen at TikTok, right? To the pit stop moment. You know what happens at the pit stop. For those of you race car enthusiasts, uh, when you stop in it, when the car has to stop for a second, make a pit stop. Find out, if anything is wrong, maintain, fix stuff up, and go again, you know. So here we are. We don't want to normalize being victimized. We don't want to normalize, evil assumptions. No, we just want to normalize what's peaceful, what's loving, what's lovely, what is supportive, what is uplifting. That's what we want to normalize. Because what's good to somebody is ugly and dangerously harmful to others. So we got to learn how to identify it, understand what we are observing, pinpoint it, interpret it, make it the right kind of vibe. I'm just saying. So yeah. So again, go to at TikTok at Grand Queen. Hey, don't hesitate to leave a comment, not just a comment, but some support, some tools. Support is a supportive tool. That's the kind of comment I want to see. I don't want to see no kind of nonsense. I want to see some supportive tools. Even if it's a good joke, leave a good joke. Hmm, You know, sometimes we need a good joke. Leave a good joke. Long as it ain't a bunch of foolishness and mayhem. You know, for some people who think I'm a feminist, I don't know. You say what you want to say. Make your own assumption. I'm talking about equality, equity for women. That's what it's about. I heard a black woman activist doctor talk about that. This is not about gender. This is about equity, equality for women. And and also for us to be able to enjoy this life from conception to life itself, to your golden years, whatever. For some people, hello. Some people think once you hit 50, life is over. Stop playing. And being targeted, that's ongoing, but it should not be normalized. Some people when they see older people, well, I don't know, it depends. A 10-year-old, 10-year-old see an 18-year-old, you old to them. But I'm just saying, I'm talking about seasoned generation, seasoned person, like 60, 80, stuff like that. When they see you, the first thing they see is your age. So that's a label. And if you have physical disabilities, whatever, or some little handicap, that's a label. And that's too normalized. So this is why you got to bring stuff in. You got to communicate. So the older eagles got to communicate with the younger eagles. I'm just saying, we're all like eagles. We're all flying together. We've got to know how to fly and keep the ravens and the rest of them off our back, off our neck. Now, I say ravens because they're always going after stuff that's dead and totally irrelevant. So those little ravens who pecked at that eagle, uh, this young woman who's going through postpartum, she's an eagle. She's a young eagle. She's trying to fly. She's trying to fly and make her life better, make her body get right, her mind most of all. So those little ravens who was pecking at her, shame on you. And now the story goes, the science of it goes that the higher the eagles fly, if a bird, any bird, a raven or whatever, can even reach that high part, if that bird can even reach that high to peck or disturb the eagle, the higher the eagle flies, instantly that bird, that whatever bird is attacking it, it begins to lose altitude. And it is VOA on arrival. So those little ravens, y'all can fly. Y'all cannot fly. Looks like y'all was done before that statement came out of your mouth. You were already done when you saw this young woman and you formed that assumption about her. And you began to laugh and make her an open spectacle. So actually, he got the last laugh. And the joke's on you. Hello, looks like y'all need to change your store policies. From what I understand, again, there's no inclusivity there. So here we are, vibing, and just love yourself. Just let God teach you how to love you for who you are, what you are. You're not an object. Remember Queen Bathsheba. Remember Bathsheba. She changed the whole thing. She wasn't worried about, her circumstance, what happened to her. She changed history. She made new history happen. And this woman, she posted this story, her experience in Ella, her postpartum story. And I believe Nike, um, no, I believe a couple of companies, a few companies reached out to her. I believe it was Nike, reached out to her to give her a gym bag. So now I believe she could possibly be the potential spokesperson for postpartum. So I'm just saying, God knows how to make your life better. So, challenges and bad stuff happen, but there's a flip side of it, and God will always take you to the flip side. How do I know? Because I'm on the flip side. That's why I'm here with you. And I always got some stories to tell. Just check out my stories at TikTok and at Grand Queen. Check out my stories, and you will you'll like it. And you'll not only be uplifted, you'll think. You'll think. Coffee, tea, or is it me? I'm just saying. Yeah. Don't let people judge you. Don't let anybody judge you. Make the right, however, there is the right judgment to make, you know, righteous judgment. Meaning things that fall in place, things that are aligned. That makes sense. That's righteous judgment. That makes sense. So get your coffee, get your tea, go to J Tire Form 1 at just as YouTube, go to Queen Grand Queen at TikTok and share some postpartum stories with me. Share some good jokes about postpartum. There's some funny stuff that happens during post. Got to be some little, not to say it's funny, not to say the matter is funny, but some little weirdly wired stuff happens. After you have a baby, share some of those stories. We have to uplift. It's not all trauma, even though, well, some of it is trauma, but however, humor, laughing is healing. That's one of the tools. We gotta laugh. Y'all know the Grand Queen. She love a good one. It's- She loves a good one. So yeah, don't let people judge you when you're already vulnerable. And we applaud her She was vulnerable, but she wasn't so vulnerable that she could not advocate her part. And this is what we do. We're here to advocate for one another. So let's talk about it. Let's heal through it. And let's wire our roots the right way. Your Thursday at the Just Stop It show. And we're going to pick up on some new stuff. A little bit, we're going to, revive on this story, but we're going to pick up on some new stuff because, again, this is Women's History Month, and we are supporting our women and our families, our intergenerational families, and the world, locally and globally. Women have changed and made new history. Your story, my story, her story, that's us. So again, let's wire our week the right way. Peace, love, and joy.